Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. It is a petition on change.org. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. African Americans are indigenous to the United States of America, to North America continent. We are indigenous here. We're taught that African Americans came to America via the slave trade. However, there were many, so many black people on this continent before the first Europeans arrived, before the Europeans ever came here. We were here. My mother had a father who was a slave boy. My mother is 93 now, and her father was well over 60 before he married a young lady from his church. He was a Methodist minister, and he had been a slave boy. His children asked him, "Father, where did we come from?" Meaning themselves, black children, being raised in the Depression era, being raised at a time when blacks were not allowed to look at white people in the eyes. She said, "Father, where did we come from?" And he told them, "We were always here. We were always here." It wasn't until I was over 50 that I heard that phrase again. And I heard it when I began to interview American Indians. They say, "We were always here." I read after that some books by some archaeologists, and I read one book by an ancient African historian. And I read about artifacts in South America that were African. They were statues of African people, but they were indigenous to South America. I've read about explorers coming to America and finding large tribes of Africans, black people. They're called the Black Indians. They were on the northeast, in the what is now the northeastern states. They were all the way down to South Carolina. I read about major battles with black Indians in Louisiana, which, by the way, the Europeans did not win the battles. And I was very interested in that. And I ask you to go ahead and read about and learn about the blacks who are native to North America. So, this is the United Nations Declaration of Indigenous People. I talked with a an international human rights attorney who told me that there's another reason why African Americans are indigenous to the United States. And that is because we were made here. We are truly made in America. African Americans are a people who represent the combination of the DNA pool of Africans, whites, and Native Americans. Our DNA is not clearly African. And also, our culture is unlike any other culture. We made many very valuable contributions to the human family in music, sports, science. We are a people who have enriched the world in so many different areas: public speaking, human rights. People the world over hold nonviolent demonstrations after the order of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We are a people who were made in America. We are not clearly Africans. Also, I ask you to take a look at other indigenous people. The indigenous people of Papua, look at them. They look exactly like the indigenous people who are now called African Americans in America. Look at the indigenous people, black people of South America. African Americans more closely resemble the indigenous people of West Papua and South America than they look like Africans. These people are recognized in Papua as being indigenous, but we are not. We're told, and that is African Americans are taught, that we were all transferred from Africa to America via the slave trade. That is a lie. We look like indigenous people of Papua and South America more than we resemble the people of Africa. I want you to know also that everybody came from Africa. So it's not wrong to say we're African Americans, but I want to submit to you that there are African Russians, African English, African French, African every damn body, because everybody came from Africa. And we may have left Africa even before those other Africans settled in France, Italy, Russia, and England. So we're all from Africa, and we could all be called African, whatever we are. We have been in the Americas for some of the artifacts show over 100,000 years. So those are two reasons why we are indigenous people. Number one, blacks were already in America when Europeans came. And number two, African Americans, even the ones who did arrive here during the slave trade, the descendants of those people are made in America. Our gene pool is mixed with other cultures and other people. As I said, Caucasians, Asians, Native Americans. Our gene pool is mixed with theirs, and our culture is very unique to North America. We were forced to learn a new language and create a new culture that has enriched the world. We are indeed indigenous people for two reasons, and we need the rights of indigenous people because this culture has never accepted us, and it's trying to murder us, murder our children, murder our elders. One black man, Isidore Monroe, was 107 years old when SWAT murdered him. Now, I'm having some trouble signing this petition to change.org, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. But I want you to know you should see my signature and my comment on that petition. If you don't, it's because it's bogus. Thank you very much.